Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with what I think is going to be a part one of a 5-part series of my favorite guns from my collection. I often get asked, Jason, what are your top 5 favorite guns that you personally own? And to be honest with you, that's kind of hard to narrow down to because I have so many awesome and cool guns, I just can't pick 5. When I go in there and I try to run this through in my head, what guns would I pick? Well, inevitably, I can't narrow it down. So I thought I would do a top 5 of top 5s. Essentially, my top 25 favorite guns, but do it by category. And today's video is going to be on my gas piston rifles. So that's where we're going to start. And we're going to start right here with number 25, my Sig Sauer MCX Spear LT. This is chambered in 5.56. It has a 16-inch barrel. When Sig came out with the MCXs, I really wanted one a long time ago. I thought they looked really cool. They came out with the MPX at the same time. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't buy one of those first generations because they're kind of rare and valuable. But later, when I decided, I think I'm going to invest in an MCX, they had the Virtus out. And the Virtus, honestly, I've reviewed and I didn't like. I thought it was way too heavy. I thought they really went away from the whole purpose of the MCX. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to buy one of those because the Gen 1s are gone forever and the Virtuses I just don't like. But then they came out with the Spear series. And this LT is essentially a 5.56 version of what the US military adopted as their new rifle. Now I could do a whole video series on that new rifle because I don't think it's really going to last. To be honest with you, I don't know why they went with an AR-10 style receiver and a cartridge that's so big and powerful for the type of engagements that the US military has. My gut tells me that within 10 to 15 years, they're probably going to go away from that and go to something like this. They will already be used to that new weapons platform, but want to scale down to 5.56. Obviously, this one is in flat dark earth. And I'm really happy I was able to get this because these were really hard to get in the early days of their production. Then we're going to move on to number 24, another rifle in flat dark earth. This is my FN SCAR 16S. Now I really like the SCARs. I think they shoot fantastic. I think this is a really cool looking rifle. It looks way heavier than what it actually is. Now this particular example was a made in Belgium one. The ones that you see in gun stores today are all made in the US, and I don't think they're as good of quality, and I'm not happy with how they engrave them. The one thing I always thought that was really cool about the SCARs is that when they anodize these in a flat dark earth, they all look different. Some of them even have kind of a shade of green to them. That's really cool. But this one is definitely flat dark earth in hue. It is really cool. I picked this one up from somebody that needed some money for gambling. Yeah, he was a poker player. In fact, I know where I got all of these rifles. I remember them all because when they enter the collection, it's something special. I remember that there was a guy selling one of these unfired on a local website where you can buy and sell stuff here in Texas. And he's like, hey, I need some money for a big game. And I saw he had this and I made him an offer well below what he was asking and he took it. And let me tell you, the price of these things have gone up. I've probably almost doubled my money on what one of these things costs now. And the fact that this one was made in Belgium, I think makes it even more valuable. Then the next one I want to show you, number 23, is a rifle that I think could have been something great if the company would have marketed it right. And that would be the Bushmaster ACR. Yeah, this was a gun that was originally called the Masada rifle, and I believe was invented or designed by Magpul. And then they sold the rights to other companies. Eventually Bushmaster bought it. They had all these promises that this thing would be in multiple calibers and barrel lengths. And yes, this one is a registered SBR. You might not be able to tell, but this has a 14.5 inch barrel. And finding extra barrels and different caliber conversions for this thing was near impossible. So I was glad that I picked this up. This one was made in New York and it was made before Bushmaster, I guess, was eventually sold. They were made for a while in Alabama later, and now the company that owns them says they're going to bring them back, but as far as I know, they haven't. but this one is in the harder to find flat dark earth color. I did make it into an SBR. I have the original 16-inch barrel to go with it. I think it is really cool, and the fact that this is a rifle that was originally designed by Magpul is really cool. And this gun, I think, could have been something great if Bushmaster actually would have followed through, marketed it right, and made all of the caliber conversions a little bit more available. Then we're going to get to number 22, and this is a rifle that I assembled, well, really from parts. It's not like I built it from individual parts. This is my LWRC M6 IC with an A5 upper. So this is kind of their flagship model. It is a gas piston system. It does have an adjustable gas block. Look at that fluting on that barrel. I changed out the muzzle device to an LWRC muzzle device. Everything on this rifle is LWRC, including the sights and the folding vertical grip. I have reviewed a few of the LWRC rifles, and they are just honestly a dream to shoot. The one thing I really like about this is the texture on the grip and the fact that it feels smaller than other rifles. Sometimes piston-driven rifles can feel kind of big. Like if you look at the ACR and then you look at the FN SCAR, you realize they're kind of big. This one is small, and I really feel like it's designed well, it's well constructed, and looks really, really cool. So if you ever shot an LWRC, you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't shot an LWRC rifle, you need to go out and do that, especially their piston-driven rifles. And then number 21 is a gun that I love having in my collection. This is my HK MR556A1, and some people ask, are you going to try to convert that into a 416 clone? Well, no. I think this gun is already pretty cool as it sits. Yes, it's a little bit heavy. It has the wrong barrel profile. I totally get it, but I can tell you that the unmolested HK rifles over time always go up in value, and that's what I'm expecting this one to be. And I can tell you, I picked this one up from somebody on that same website I mentioned before, who is a transplant from California. Yeah, they reached escape velocity and got out of there, and he told me he bought this. It was unfired when I purchased it, and originally it had a bullet button. So this is back before California changed their laws. But yeah, originally it had a bullet button on it, which of course was that device that only allowed you to drop the magazine with the tip of a bullet because it was a tool and it got around their assault weapons ban. So this gun originally sold in California, made it here to Texas. It also escaped and went to the land of freedom. And honestly, you guys know HK stuff is really cool. It always will be. And of course, HK hates you. There's no reason they can't make this gun more like the 416. And this is one of the older versions, which I like, with the quad rail. A lot of the new ones have an M-LOK rail. They had one for a while with a key mod rail. But I like the look of the quad rails. It really does have the look of a 416, just with a different barrel profile. It's just really cool. A lot of parts are made here in the US because of 922R compliance, but it is all HK, and I think it is just a cool looking gun. It has the same gas piston system as the 416, might be just a little bit different because of the barrel length, but overall it is really cool. So that is my top 5 gas piston rifles that I own in guns number 25 through 21. So in about a week or so, I will come out with a second video in this series and give you a different category and my top 5 guns in that category. So I hope you guys like going through this little venture through the vault and my safe and my collection. And if you guys like these rifles or have shot these rifles or have any interest in these rifles, let me know in the comments section below, because I always love to share my collection, talk about my collection, just get them out of the safe from time to time and fondle them. I know that not all of these rifles are going to be of interest to everybody. Some people say, oh, that one's a piece of junk or whatever. But these are the guns that I personally like. I'm not saying these are the top 5 best piston guns in the world. I'm not saying they're the most valuable guns in the world or the guns that you should own. They're just the ones that interest me the most. And remember, this is my collection. I'm not telling you what guns to like or not like. So what do you guys think? Do you like this series? And do you like the rifles I chose for this first part? So let me know in the comment section below. And as always, Thanks for watching.